Great, wonderful. Welcome to the December 28th, 2021 meeting of the Community Relations Committee. We would like to thank Easthampton Media for recording tonight's meeting. All past meetings of the CRC can be found on our city website for viewing at any time. All committee members and participants in this meeting are gathered remotely during the COVID-19 pandemic under an executive order of Governor Baker on March 12th, 2020, and is extended by him on June 16th, 2021, allowing us to do so. For the benefit of those of you who are joining us from the community, I'd like to start this meeting by sharing our committee's mission statement. Our mission is to promote positive relations throughout Easthampton's diverse population. We will work to build a sense of inclusion, community, and pride, where community members feel welcome, accepted, and valued. We'll begin tonight's meeting with a roll call. Rebecca Passa.
Here.
Patty Dougherty.
She's muted.
I'm here.
Great. Emily Britton.
Here.
Margaret's not here yet. Jan Norman's not here. Myra Oyedemi.
Here.
Gabby Stevenson is not with us. And Deborah Lusnia is present. Okay. First order of business is our approval of minutes. The minutes have been proposed for the CRC meeting of 11/30/2021. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes? Do you want to say something out loud?
Go ahead, Emily.
I approve them. Yeah.
Okay. Emily has made a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion, suggestions, comments? No, all set as is. Okay, all those in favor of approval? I guess I need to read the roll call again. Okay, Rebecca Passa.
Approve. Thank you. Approve.
Patty Dougherty.
Yes. Approve.
Emily Britton.
Yes.
Myra Oyedemi.
Yes.
Deborah Lusnia, yes. Unanimously approved. Thank you very much, Rebecca.
You're welcome.
Next up is announcements. I don't have any announcements. Does anyone else have any at this time? No. Okay. Moving on to public speak. It doesn't look as though anyone is with us this evening. We don't have anyone joining us. So we will move on and consider that portion of our meeting closed as well. So then next on the agenda is remarks from our mayor, Nicole LaChapelle. Thank you so much for being with us, Mayor LaChapelle.
Thank you.
So as you know, we invited you here in the hopes that you would share with us your thoughts at this point, as so much has changed over the past many months. So much has changed in our world and in our city, and at this point we wanted to check in with you and see what you are thinking about in terms of the future of the Community Relations Committee, your vision, your thoughts, your plans at this point in time. If you could share with us.
Thank you very much, Deb, for the invitation. My sincere apologies to the committee for missing the last meeting where I was supposed to present. What I did is I took the questions that were forwarded to me from the committee. I sent out a document of just almost like talking points of what I'm going to say tonight for the official minutes and for the members of the committee. So the vision plan, my vision plan for the CRC and what I see of, and I meant to add something. So one, cross work groups with other multi-member committees. So those multi-member committees in the city is everything from city council to planning to Department of Health, regarding policy prioritization and planning. So a past example would be the ordinance committee of city council. They reviewed all the ordinances, for more inclusionary and equitable language. would have been one example. Going forward, what comes to mind, and the examples, this is just obviously my vision, and I own it in the first person. Going forward, the software presentations around city data collection. So we got a grant for $125,000 for a brand new data collection system and software and servers for police, fire, and dispatch that allows reports that were recommended by the mayor's work group of what data should be easily basically seen, researched, forward-facing, and also fluid, and so the data could be put in different views with different data points to take a hard look at. And that would be, I'd love to come to this committee with our IT director and the company that's putting this in and have an overall presentation and kind of have the committee throw out questions about what the reports are. That will probably, so that's another one. The other is website review. So the Council of Disabilities have just started to go through our new website and have found some real complications and non-ADA compliant features. So they're compiling a list. We're going back to the company Civic Plus to say, you said this would be ADA accessible. It's not. I think there's also something to say about, how the language is presented, how it's organized or whatnot. I think the CRC is a logical place to take a good look at that. In the mayor's report, and I'm sorry, the mayor's recommendations, it came up a couple of times in different ways, as well as with the work with the Department of Justice, that the Community Relations Committee would be the lead recipient of fire, police, and dispatch data reports from this upgraded software. And Public Safety Suite Pro is from Central Square. That's a system if folks want to take a look at it. Also named lead recipient of the post-commission reporting. So lead recipients is basically that data goes to the CRC as a part of the public record for discussion, or comments, follow-up work as far as patterns on a macro level. The mayor, city council, school committee, and department leaders also get it, but it's for the CRC kind of gets the, I don't want to say everybody gets the view at the same time, but the CRC for the data and the questioning, and maybe the reorganization or whatnot, it would be the CRC would be asked to comment first as a resident based committee.
Excuse me a moment. I don't mean to interrupt, but I didn't really get a green light on screen sharing, and I think I should be because you're going through this, what you just sent us by email.
Yep.
So let's see. Let's screen share. Okay. So what you should be seeing is what you've sent us, Mayor, and you've mentioned the crosswork groups, you've mentioned the recipient of funds, data analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think you might be to
Consultant support.
Consultant support. Okay.
Again, following the mayor's pledge in the work group, it definitely, this is a volunteer committee, and to have consultant support for data analysis, comparison in the region, I think that the CRC, and again, as the lead recipient, that support would be given to the CRC to craft different reports or what we're missing with the data analysis or comparison. We are in very early discussions with higher education institutions about that consulting. I want to make sure that that we have got the software on board. And my plan is to put the $125,000 grant, and then the rest of that money would come out of cannabis, which requires an appropriation. If the appropriation is denied by council, then I'll go for ARPA funding, which does not need a city council appropriation. The also staff support for the CRC community engagement expenditures and partnerships. I think that, I don't want to start defining that because I think that's a joint conversation or a conversation among the CRC. We did get an appropriation for the CRC specifically for $10,000 out of cannabis for these expenditures from now until June 30th. If the funds are not spent by June 30th, then they roll back into the general fund, but it doesn't mean CRC wouldn't get funding the following fiscal year. But that 10,000 is very specific for expenditure between January 1st, 2022 and July 30th, 2022. So then work with like Blueprint, Easthampton Healthy Youth Coalition, Department of Public Health, Community Policing Program to build authentic relationships with underrepresented communities. So I think that there's some data that really deserves taking a look at with the coalition, with Blueprint, all 4 named programs about where the relationships are, how authentic they are, what we can do for that. I mentioned these 4 agencies, groups in the city because they all have funding attached, and the work of the community relations around inclusion and equity match some of the funding that these 4 groups have. I think there's some really great work to be done there. Further engagement with site-based intervention programs and like the school spirit, the city spirit, taking a look at what we've done, what's been implemented, what's not, what are the outcomes. The National Association for Civilian Oversight of Law Enforcement, NACOL, has resources and workshops. They have, it's virtual now, but they have regional and national conferences that several other community relations committee, as well as our DOJ contact, strongly recommended. Another person who worked with us, Brian Core, recommended that sending a kind of a group to one of those national conferences would be very beneficial and good networking for the committee. Plans for additional people to be able to attend / participate on doing racism. Yes, absolutely. Dr. Campbell and I have always planned to do that. The question is virtual or in person. I think it's pretty clear it should be virtual, and I'm hoping it's more flexible for people to attend. It also virtually allows us to do different times, whether that's a weekend, whether those are evenings. They don't have to be 2 big chunks. They can be 2 hours. Groups of 20 to 25 can attend. And some folks do them outside with COVID or have done. I don't see how that can happen safely, just given the work of the workshop. But again, it's a conversation. So far, I've funded Undoing Racism under Economic Development, and I'm going to continue to do that for the foreseeable future. And repeat attendance is encouraged. So most of our department leaders attended either the April or October session of Undoing Racism. And I would encourage them to do that again. The ones who did not participate, I mandated it the first time. There are a couple of ones out there that didn't attend. The struggle, but struggle. So outreach is definitely a struggle about, are we getting to the people are we getting to all of the people to make sure everybody knows about this? And with community buy-in, then the sessions, we can just increase the sessions. The confirmation of attendance and folks not being able to attend at the last minute, there aren't refunds. So we had to scramble to fill the seats. Each seat is $540. So, maybe we do outreach, people sign up, they confirm. If they can't make it, then we have a waiting list to have somebody fill in. All right. Members of the committee. So first, the city clerk needs a written resignation from any member to leave the CRC and open that spot. So somebody saying to a member of the committee, I'm not going to participate anymore, isn't a resignation by charter. So there are a couple of folks. I know Lindsay has been going through the list and affirming the intent of members that are up for reappointment, but also haven't attended meetings. Are you still interested, or would you like to resign? There's no pressure to resign, but we do want to figure out what the final number is. I put one appointment through. It's before council right now. It was in the packet on the 15th. Understandably and sadly, and a whole bunch of different words, we have other applicants who are now very hesitant. Some have put applications forward, some would like to, but are looking for assurance from me that the application process will be less excruciating. I don't know what the other word would be. And I can't assure that. I think I need to be more involved in those hearings, but also I appoint and the city council confirms. So the questions and tenor of the meetings, I don't have a lot of control over, although I have had talks with city council members about the tone, tenor, and what the real focus of appointments are, and what the criteria is. I won't get on my soapbox about that too much, but I will just say that purity test as far as mayoral community appointments and electeds, they don't go together for a whole bunch of different reasons in my mind. So I'll leave it at that. I plan to leave the size of the CRC at 11 for at least 3 more years, unless the committee itself requests it to be smaller. I think it's important that there are 11 spots on this committee for availability for people to join, or be at 11 and someone sit down, we can fill people right away. The committee doesn't have under its purview any budgetary concerns, like approving DPW DPW dump truck, or raises for paid plan employees. So I feel like votes can be taken, informational votes can be taken at least when the quorum has been hit. How am I going to reach out? I was going to do a press release asking for residents to apply, and in the press release add the updated resources for the committee. And that, it's on the website now, but I think pushing it out and explaining a little more of what's going on with the committee, and also what the city has done as far as support, or how it connects into the Mayor Pledge work group, which I have not finalized recommendations. Some of the recommendations are in play, like new software for public safety, as well as an overall city data collection, a data center to collect data from around all city departments, whether that be jobs of DPW or number of business permits or whatnot, and with the ability for that data to be disaggregated upon need, want, whim, whatever. So that is that's what I'm thinking. And yeah, so that's what I'm thinking right now.
Margaret? Oh, you're muted, Margaret.
Okay, here I am. Okay, Mayor, I wasn't here at the I had technical difficulties to say the least, but in any case, what you were just saying about the CRC collecting data, for example, what would any random data be used for? I mean,
Yeah, so the CRC wouldn't be the one collecting. The CRC is the lead recipient of getting reports out of city systems, out of state systems, and reviewing it to see what patterns and habits, and if their patterns and habits are connected or in sync with or with policies or not with policies.
Okay.
Make suggestions to ordinance to change that. Taking a look at those reports and say, hey, XYZ is missing, or why can't we see this, and that sort of thing. Another thing that just popped into my head. Also, I see the CRC as a platform to review things like the new data collection systems for public safety and for the city, web review for Council on Disability, and just so the language, the feel of the website is more inclusionary. We have gotten a grant for body cameras on all of the police, so to have the police and the folks, the consultants, come and talk about what that program does, what it doesn't do, the policies around the use, the negotiations with the police union around implementation of the body cameras, stuff like that. I see very central to the community relations overall vision and mission to kind of get that out. I think that I will speak for myself, in public speak and different hearings to attend. Committee hearings can be very difficult and confusing on when the public gets to comment or not, or back and forth conversations, right, between committee members and those presenting or whatnot. So I do feel that there is a parliamentary set of rules that could be put in, so there's more of a discussion of those things here at the CRC if the committee is open to that.
Other questions for Mayor LaChapelle? Margaret?
Okay. I have another question. I heard at the end you talking about, keeping the CRC at 11 members. This is my concern about our membership at this point. Myra, Emily, Rebecca, and myself are the committee. There is Jan, who comes about half the time, and Gabby comes. I've seen, she was at one meeting in the last 5 months or so, something like that. So you're looking at the committee, basically. And I have some concerns about us being a tenable committee.
So it's a committee of 11, and how many?
We are a committee of 4 with 2 members who come sometimes to meetings.
So as far as attendance and somebody's active participation by coming to a meeting or not, that needs to be a conversation, but like there's ample rules, and I'm we can get to those rules around attendance and asking people to be on or off a committee because of attendance and ability to be at a meeting. I will say that the quorum, which is 6 right now, there are 6 people actively named to the committee, and if there's a participation issue or people can't make those meetings, then we could talk about that. You guys can reach out. My office can reach out. I feel like having 6 folks that are participating in the meetings is, I think, doable. I'm not a big fan of, especially with this committee, or any committees, actually. It came up with another committee about lessening the numbers in the thought that we will get a quorum, or we will have a fuller committee with the members who come to the of the meetings. That seems counterintuitive to me.
I'm not suggesting that we lessen the number. That's not what I'm suggesting. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, and this is something for our committee, whoever is on our committee to discuss, but that I have concerns about whether we are a viable, breathing committee or not, if we are dead in the water. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Are we dead in the water? We have been functioning for almost 2 years without face-to-face contact. I have never met Myra. Any new members I will also never have met. I think we're talking about doing some things about that, but and again, what I'm saying is that we often don't have a quorum, or less important than that, given that I've been on the committee for 3 years, we have a sense of what we're not going to do, but we certainly still don't have a sense of what we are going to do, regardless of how much work I have done or put into meeting with Derek and the Undoing Racism was the most useful and helpful and moved the CRC forward more than anything else that I think happened in the years before it. I also feel like well, that's irrelevant. My role in this group is to always be like the bummer, but I'm not the bummer. I just think that this is very realistic. I take my time and my energy really seriously. And I know that, for example, Myra, I don't even know what Myra does for work, whether she's in school. I know she's got children. I know that people on many levels are busier than I am, but it doesn't matter. Whether we spend 2 minutes or 2 weeks on a project or something, it's just, we're not really, one of my things was, how can we, I don't even know if there's another committee that we would be good to bond with, join with, become a conglomerate with, of people who have kind of worked out some, just because we don't have right now the people power to get a lot of stuff done, I really see we are lacking in people power.
Myra? You're muted, Myra.
Classic mistake. You're not a bummer, Margaret.
Okay.
That's my official statement. That's all I want to say. No, I'm kidding. I do have something to say, and that little baby Yoda cup just cracked me up.
Christmas.
Mine is not that festive. Anyway, yeah, the lack of people power is definitely a challenge because there's so many things that we'd like to do, but there's only so many available and willing bodies to break off into little sub forums. So our sub forums may consist of the same people or variations of the same people. So really, if we want to move forward, I'd really urge you, Mayor, to promote the committee for people to be aware and to join. I think there's several things that we're speaking about that aren't part of this agenda item to promote ourselves, but really a small committee isn't really doing the work that we need to do justice, because like we've mentioned, attendance is variable, but to form those smaller subcommittees where we were going to work on and I called it bylaws, but maybe that's the wrong term. Bylaws or forums or whatever it is that have you. No, the website tutorial and things like that. If the same people are doing the same little task, we can just stall out. So I would really hope that 11-person group is something that's attainable, so we can make those steps forward and not just in a cycle of starting and starting different things. And that's all I'd like to say. I'm intrigued about the data analysis. It seems like something that will be a new task for the group. And I'm glad that there's support for that. And I look forward to us accomplishing a few more things. And I'm glad that there's someone on tap that may be appointed soon. That's all for now.
Thank you, Myra. Patty?
Hi, everyone. Sorry. I guess I just wanted to say that I think I guess you four really need to discuss whether you want to forge ahead while waiting for appointments, or does it, and I'm just throwing a couple things out here that just flew through my mind. Would it feel good for you guys to take a hiatus in January and come back in February when maybe there's some of the appointments have been approved and you have some new blood? I don't know. I'm just throwing that. Or you could act as your subcommittee and work on the things that were on the agenda. And then the other thing I just wanted to say is that with getting a lot of new people in, I think it's going to be really important that you try to, we did do, I know it feels like we haven't done much, but we did do a lot of work on our strategic plan. And I think to use that in your agenda building processes will help you have some continuity and not get taken off track by a lot of new people who are going to have great ideas and they're going to be excited. But because then you might end up, like Myra was just saying, sorry about, hey, just kind of like backtracking again. So I just want to say that I think probably the most useful thing, I appreciate what Margaret was saying about the undoing racism thing being really important and really great that some people were able to go. But in terms of, practicality, using that strategic plan to move this committee forward with some of the input the mayor has given as well, if you choose to take it, and it's totally up to you guys. I think that's going to be really useful. And when the very first time we talked to Derek and his superior, they had talked about doing a strategic plan to support agenda building. So I just want to say that it's a really good tool you guys have And I think that could be really useful to you going forward. And I really appreciate that you all are able to stay and do this work. And I'm sorry I'm not able to. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Any other comments, questions for the mayor? Rebecca, can you scroll the notes, Mayor LaChapelle's notes back down to the beginning? Thank you.
Can I address actually comments that Margaret and Myra spoke to?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so as far as, a task for the CRC, as far as lead recipient of reports or whatnot, I would just say, one, that's something the committee has to agree to want to take on and do. And that wouldn't prohibit any comments of or input from a committee. As far as putting that data together, the software would do that. An IT department would, build the different reports, but also there will be support, consultant support for data analysis. That could be the same person as the staff support for building events or information that the team, this committee would need. So there's not an expectation that the committee, and my ask or vision of this is that the committee does the data analysis, but reviews it and asks questions of it and listen to the public, as well as having a consultant to support the data analysis and staff support for other actions or plans or follow-up the committee would want to see or need or ask for or whatnot. So it would be assigned paid staff in the form of, I would think 2 consultants, but I don't want to get into I don't want to go down the wormhole on it. I just see 2 different expertises, but there could be somebody out there. So, or maybe a team from higher ed, or I haven't thought about that. I don't see I don't see it as a unilateral decision on my part.
I have a question.
Emily?
Yeah. Is there another community relations committee that you know of that is reviewing data from a database like this? And would we be able to observe one of their meetings by any chance and see how they look at it and just learn from them?
Yes. So somebody in Massachusetts, I don't think there's anybody in Massachusetts that's working with the data out of this software because it's brand new to the state. But there are definitely different states or CRCs that are doing it with this exact software. There are also CRC committees that are reviewing data and from their police departments within. Like, it might not be this software, but the reports might have the content, and you could see how that works in other communities and what they look at. I mean, and some of them are close. I mean, some of them are in Western Mass, so it's not like it would be a big city like Somerville or something that would be hard to match. So I could find that out.
Yeah, I'd love to know. Yeah, I would love to sit in on one of those meetings and observe how they do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a question back to the topic of the paid staff support person.
Yep.
And you said that you're envisioning 1, maybe 2 of those people. Did you say that?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I heard loud and clear from the committee that staffing is definitely needed. Bringing somebody on 3/4 or full-time for the committee, I think is the goal. But I see, like, one, the support for the data analysis having a very specific skill set. And then staff support for community engagement, expenditures, partnerships, follow-ups, or whatnot. I just see it as a different skill set. So I think that to put those both in the next fiscal year budget, and there's some money now, makes good sense. So it's almost like a job description that should be created for, for one person, or maybe it's 2 consultant budgets or not. Around the mayor pledge group, data analysis was key. Professor Hendricks mentioned it. Derek has mentioned it, Brian Core, this committee, it's like, how do you disaggregate data? What if you want, patrol information, where dispatch is going, how they're dealing with DV calls and all of that. I think there's a person who needs to know how to compile the data into reports or one-off reports. And that's different than, a staff support person who's going to find the committee that Emily wants to sit on, or, let's get 3 different community engagement or undoing racism. So I would, and how we do and get that. So if there's undoing racism, the city has a commitment to that through economic development, but there might be an additional community engagement discussion or whatnot that the CRC would like to see, and that would come out of their budget or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Myra, you have a question or comment?
Yes, I think it's a bit of a question and a comment. So I think it just, with this vision, I just also think it's important for us to bring ourselves back to our own discussion about strategic planning as a group, and knowing that these are like separate components and how they could actually gel together. This will probably be an ongoing discussion, because we have moved in a way, or where our planning was that of a facilitatory group rather than an advisory policy or investigatory CRC. And with paid staff, it seems like right now, with us working toward a facilitatory role, it seems like it might be 2 different silos where people are working toward community engagement and hoping to bring, hoping to have community connections, et cetera, bring people to government and resources. So it kind of feels like it's separate than what we had envisioned. But so anyway, I'm just thinking of how that could work with the 2 very different approaches. And I guess that will leave us for a very big discussion in the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can I just, so what's on this paper or this document is my vision. None of this has to happen. The CRC can say we're going in a different direction. Doesn't mean I'm not going to support it or I'm not going to fund it. I mean, I was asked, what the vision is, and so I put it down on paper, but I see the conversation around this document, clarifying questions for me, but also decisions from the CRC, which, Margaret brought up some concerns about how, is it functional if it's not, if you're doing that work? I mean, like, off the top of my head, as I listen to Myra speak, so maybe there's a group, whoever is remaining on the committee and will commit to coming to meetings, maybe we fund a strategic planning study, something like the downtown strategic study, or housing production a housing need and production study or downtown strategy, or, we've done about 8 of them in the last 3 years. I mean, there certainly can be, there's tons of models out there for strategic planning for a CRC group. I mean, we've read about it in the newspaper. So, I mean, that could be ultimately, thank you very much, Mayor, for, this, but this is what we're going to do. And a part of the strategic planning process would have, would be, significant community outreach from the CRC or individuals or other groups or whatnot. This is for weird reasons, this is the one committee that, and we've talked about the pros and the cons of this, that I just feel I'm hands off. I mean, this document is my vision, but it's one of 16,000. It's not a threat or intimidation by an elected official to say, if you don't do this, then forget it.
I don't think I perceive it that way.
No, I just want to put it out there for other folks. I just, a couple of people, commented to me when they saw I was going to speak here that, oh, you're just going to hand out what you're going to do. And I want to be really clear, that's not it. But when I hear strategic plan, whatever, the content, your discussions have been around that, maybe that's where we start with support for the, have somebody in who will lead that, and do the complementary work, whether that's doing racism or Dr. Campbell or another ethnic study or UMass or, so open to all of it.
That's awesome. Margaret?
Are you going to share your this just vision that you have? Is this going to be? Can we have a copy of what is on the screen that you wrote up?
Yeah, I'll share it with you right now, Margaret. I shared it with everybody else, but I made sure that the committee, this can be entered in with the official minutes of the meeting for the public, but also will share with you right now.
Thank you. Although I don't know exactly what that means, Mayor, but I'm ready.
All right, that's good.
Well, I think it's great to have this opportunity to hear your vision, hear your thoughts, and look at how that may or may not dovetail with what the committee has decided over the past few months in the strategic planning process with Derek Dean, or figure out then from there what the priorities are going to be going forward, right? What the agenda is. But we felt like it was really important to hear your thoughts and where you were at, and to include things like, because there were things that were alluded to, but nothing definitive, like about paid staff and that sort of thing. So we felt like that was important, all important information to have to then figure out how the steps forward. Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I sorry it took so long, but and I won't say there's more. I mean, there's more detail to come as far as I'm hoping that the grant and the money will be allocated for the steps in the mayor's pledge and making sure that it's sustainable. But I've been adding snippets here, there, and everywhere to that. The goal would be to present that before my fiscal year 23 budget, so there's opportunity for comment. My penciled in date to get that out is February 1, with the budget, with handing over the budget to City Council. I'd love mid-March. So the hearings are not bunched up, but I'm not sure if we'll have our receipts in. So it's kind of a bureaucratic thing, but yes.
Great. Any other comments or questions for the mayor? Okay. Do you have anything else you want to add, Mayor?
Just to thank the committee. I mean, I know it's been, whether it's from the very beginning, Margaret, or newer or whatnot, that the committee and the conversations have been really difficult. And maybe there's, surely frustration with my office or funding, but also just the conversations the committee's having it. And I do, from my perspective, see it all very valuable and representative where we are as a city, and there are forward steps being made on this committee, and sticking with it. I appreciate it. I appreciate you for the work and the commitment to something that is very difficult, and a little bit amoeba-like when everybody is got competing things they can do for every minute of the day, including self-care. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you for doing the work, and chaotic or not, or wherever we go. But please, I would just leave with my vision. Can't wait to hear what you guys want to do next. The 10 grand is in an account right now for the CRC. And it would be just a simple description of what you'd like to do. Lindsay can walk through it. We're doing it with some of the ARPA money. And then we just take, it's basically like a bank account. So, in community outreach. So, just remember that, even if it's, So if you have things you want to do with that $10,000, Lindsay in my office can walk you through what is needed. It's under $10,000, the whole amount. So it's not, you don't have to go out for bids. If you want to go out for bids around quality, then that's up to you, but there's no bid requirement under procurement law. So again, I appreciate the work and the time that you have done with the CRC, and respect everybody else who's been on the committee and leaving. Thank you, folks who it's hard to make meetings. I respect very much so, very personally, making choices of what you do with your time. So thank you.
Okay.
And if anybody individually wants to reach out to me, happy to have that conversation too. Just let me know when I'm coming back.
Okay.
Bye,
Well,
everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Bye. Yep.
Bye-bye. Okay, before we completely move on from this topic, anything else, anybody else, any of last minute thoughts on this conversation? Okay,
Well, I was just going to say, I wish I had more time, because that the list of things that we could work with, like Blueprint Easthampton, Healthy Youth Coalition, then Department of Public Health and Community Policing. There's so many things I feel like we could be, doing outreach with, or just learning about. I just feel a little overwhelmed with when I have the time to do that.
Okay, I'm just going to be happy with you cannot do all things.
Right.
But it seems like it would be great to have some liaisons with those different groups and start forging relationships, and perhaps having co-meetings
Yes.
with them, because they're active, existent
Right.
entities already.
Right.
So I would love to see some collaboration, but also the different liaisons from department heads would be great to see too. People being active and engaged with us in the future. And I'm really looking forward to our neighbors connecting events.
Right.
Anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
lots of good plans. Margaret?
Right. I was going to say that when I keep saying that, one of the best things was the undoing racism. One of the things, because we never really got a chance to discuss that more, but one of the things that I got from it that was so profound for me was the fact that the police chief was there, the fire chief was there, the dispatch person was there. Just all of these different people who work for the town in very significant roles were accessible. And I think the spending the time and the days and the going through that whole process, I felt like what we would hope to, I mean, I didn't get a chance to ask the mayor, you know, she says, well, we're going to have a reunion of those people, you know, to regroup and talk more. That's exactly what the CRC would love to be part of. I mean, this is like a vehicle for me. We don't have to invent this wheel. It already exists, and just really use it. And, in as productive a way as we can. And so that was that gaining familiarity with the groups that we want to be with, or with strategic people who run those departments, et cetera. It seems to me a really good place for the CRC to continue. You know, I can't speak for Rebecca, but I think that I don't know. I'd be curious to hear from you, Rebecca, what your experience was vis-a-vis that.
And I'm not muted, right? Okay. Yeah, being with the people. Yeah, and well, hopefully they'll keep doing it so the rest of the committee, whoever we are, can do it. And then we can talk about it. You know, there was a whole tone. Did you notice, Margaret? I mean, I think they were saying family, right? We're co-workers, you know, there's a whole tone set there, and it was including whether, I guess the mayor required it, right? So whether willing or not, but it had some key staff, right? Yeah, the task collector, the dispatcher, the fire chief, the chief of police. And it was nice we all had to share, so it was nice to go through that together, you know, and get a sense of the thoughts of each other. So, yes, sure. And, you know, there's a lot there. There's a historical part that we went through, or let's say a systems analysis of how some structures got set up and how difficult it is for people in a lower class, for example, to have accessibility. And I think that's so good for us to know. In terms of making what in government accessible should be accessible, which in theory we want transparency and accessibility. So I think we all would highly recommend attending that, right, Margaret? And
oh yeah, but
yeah.
It's not even about recommend attending that. I think it's about us figuring out how we can use that. I also think, you know, your comment, Patty, about us really going back to even before any new members come, kind of what our strategic plan was. And as you said, Myra, you know, the mayor's kind of shifting it from a facilitating role to a very much more active role. You know, kind of more of a change agent kind of role, assessment role. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure where we're going to go or what, quote, the remaining members on the committee want to do, but I do think, not that we going to, you know, tell everybody else, oh, no new ideas, we can't take any new ideas, but you're right. I don't, if everybody wants to start again, that will be difficult to be part of, actually, you know, without there being, and we also don't have a chair or co-chairs now, which was a problem for us before Patty and Deb became co-chairs. This is just, again, the bummer truth, my truth, that no one wanted to be chair, no one. Jane took it on by default. That did not work. And then we got Patty and Deb. And now we have no Patty and Deb.
Yeah. You know, the truth is the ordinance actually says mayor should appoint the chair. So we might not have really done that. And I'm sure.
I think, but she sat at one of our first meetings and said, she wasn't going to do that. And I think this is really taxing my memory, but
Yeah, that's right. I remember that too.
I do think she said, I don't, even whatever, you guys can do whatever you want, basically. Yeah, so, I mean, my 2 cents is Rebecca's been doing a really great job keeping everything organized. And so I think it would be wise to have her continue to do that. And Rebecca, you've done so much and you've been on top of everything, and it's been great and really,
Thank you.
Yes.
yeah.
So this is a good support position to somebody else being chair.
Yeah.
I mean, because if I feel like whoever the chair is probably doesn't want to have to worry about the minutes.
It's like anything. So I don't know if you guys know that I'm a personal trainer. But I motivated to when I'm watching to make sure somebody's doing something right, I have a really hard time counting the repetitions, right? Because my focus is on sort of the big picture of what they're doing. So most of my clients think I don't know how to count. Anyway, the point is that you have, when you're trying to keep all these things, the bigger picture in place, having somebody making sure the minutes are going on Thursdays on Thursday was super important. And, it's one of those things that can fall by the wayside. Of which I have to go. And I'm sad to go, and I'm going to miss you guys. And, I do know I've felt all the frustration too. And, but I was really happy that we were able to at least get a strategic plan that I think everybody felt good about. And, again, I would try to check some of those boxes off. I know, Emily, you said you're feeling like there's so many things to do here. But, if you can start checking a few boxes off, you can start not feel that way anymore. And I really do mean it. If you guys are having an event or you need something, feel free to, I have times when I'm not so busy. I'm about to go into a really busy time. So please, stay in touch and let me know if I can do anything to help.
Thank you.
All righty.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Patty.
Help to you.
Bye-bye. Happy New Year.
Happy New
New
Year.
Year.
So the really sad news is with Patty leaving us, we will not have a quorum to continue this meeting.
Well, let's see. So we have 8. So a quorum is,
We need 5, right? Right.
well, don't we have 6 right now?
Yeah, we'd have 5.
So we still have 5.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry. I'm not counting myself. I'm like, sorry. Oh, this is sad. Okay. Yes. I'm sorry. I was panicking thinking as she was saying her goodbyes, I'm thinking, oh no, oh no, oh no, we're going to be down to 4. Okay. All right. Phew. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you. So just on that note, wrapping up that topic, I was just going to suggest, I just wanted to second appreciation for all that Rebecca has done for us. She's just been amazing. And she does such a wonderful job. And I just appreciate her every single week. And I just wanted to share that appreciation for her hard work, dedication, commitment, all of that. And just thinking that it would make sense probably for you guys to be thinking about chairpersons and secretaries and put that on your agenda for the first meeting in January. Right? So you could be discussing and deciding at that point. Because I would 100% agree. I think the mayor would definitely not want to do that. And the mayor will definitely would defer to all of you to make that decision. Okay, so maybe we should move on to number 7 on our agenda about the approval of the statement regarding the gallery exhibit during the Native American Heritage Month. how would you like to proceed with that conversation? I saw some email messages with some proposed statements. I'm not sure where we're at exactly with, where we stand exactly with that. Who would like to speak to that topic and lead us through that process?
Well, I mean, I can say, I think Margaret wrote it, and then Rebecca added some things, and I commented and made some thoughts, put down my thoughts. And we just wanted to hear from Myra, maybe, and anyone else who showed up tonight. But I don't know if you want to take the time to read it now, though, Myra. I don't know, but I guess now or never, in a way.
I did have a read. I thought it was going to be an ongoing discussion because that read was a while ago.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Is there a version that's on the table for consideration right now? Like, have we come to?
No, what happened was I wrote one version, Rebecca transformed that a bit. It looked good too. Then Emily put in her 2 cents and that looked good too. So and without Myra's input, one could have sat down, somebody could have sat down and consolidated those 3 pieces so far. But I didn't do that. So we do not have a finished product. We absolutely do not. And, it's a certain amount of work to just create that this is, press releases always seem to me should be in a very timely manner. This is an antique press release at this point. Because what we're commenting on is over. It will be over for several months by the time the press release is ready. So, it's a good exercise for us. And I think the press release, I don't know, anyways, it's fine in any one of its forms at this point. It's acceptable, certainly. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe the good news through all of this is maybe with the holidays past, that it'll be at a time when people are paying better attention and there'll be more of an audience to really listen and grasp this message. Maybe that's the bright spot in all of this, right?
Yeah, I think so. And, even doing a little research, there were some things that I learned in the process of writing it after doing some research and, and then everybody kind of added to that in its own way. And so, yeah, I don't have a problem saving it for this as a subcommittee to look at it again in January and come up with a finished product because, I do think we need to put it in context and give some history to the exhibit, which is kind of what I added into it. But then other people continue. You added some more, Rebecca. And I don't remember exactly, Emily, what your additions were. But in any case, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, what I read sounded great. I think that's going to be amazing. And we'll just then have it move to January and you'll continue the discussion and between now and then maybe work for a final draft for approval at your next meeting.
Yeah, that I think that should happen. That could happen.
Okay.
We have to also decide on our next meeting.
Right. Okay, well, before we do that, let's move on to then agenda item number 8, the Winterfest opportunity. I don't remember who it was who was going to be doing the research to determine some of the details surrounding Winterfest. I think it was Emily. Was it Emily?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had a number of emails with Beth Tiffany, who is on the Winterfest committee. And she, said that there was no more room for a booth in the indoor space, which is in one of the mill buildings. She certainly didn't say there wasn't room outside by the pond, but she wanted to know what we were going to be doing. And I said, well, I couldn't tell you exactly. I said, we had the idea of, a booth offering hot chocolate and an invitation to talk with us and introduce us in some way, but I couldn't really say more than that. And she did try to meet with me, but or talk with me, but it was right before the holidays and I was busy.
When is Winterfest?
I know, good question. I've forgotten already. Hold on a second. And it's in in February. Which, by the way, February is Black History Month. I was wondering if there was anything we could say in the press release about the Indigenous Peoples Month. Not that we want to say anything like, yeah, we're a whole a whole few months late, but let's see. It still the website still says on the Winterfest we're assessing what our fundraising will look like in 2022. Please stay tuned.
So it's maybe a little bit uncertain still?
Yeah, I mean, the woman sort of seemed to imply that it was going to happen, but that was before Omicron got really bad. So, yeah, I can pursue talking to her. But what do you guys think we should do? Like, and also I want to say that there's going to be an Easthampton Film Festival, which was supposed to start in February. And I talked to the man who's starting it, and yeah, well, I can say more later, I guess. Anyway.
Also, Emily, Winterfest, I just Googled it. It looks like it's set for February 12th.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention, speaking of these sort of events and having booths at these events or representing the committee, having the public exposure and all that, I will be sure to forward all of the CRC logos that were created for us to Rebecca so that you will have, I think she already has most of it, but I'm just going to double check all that, make sure you have all of that so that should you decide to get t-shirts created or signage, get a big banner or something for like a table cover or whatever other signage you want to maybe create for these kinds of events, that you'll have all that available at your fingertips to use.
Yeah, so let me suggest, so we do have a city Gmail account, as you probably remember, Deb, the CRC at easthamptonma.gov. And I think it'd be great to forward it there. If you're forwarding emails, I think it would be great to have it there.
Okay.
And at one point, the city was changing from using Microsoft over to Google, so the email kind of changed, and that could result in the loss of older things. So if you have information that can go to that email, I just think that'd be a great place to have it.
Okay, so what is the new address again?
So the address is and has been, it stayed the same.
Oh, okay.
But it is CRC. Let me see. I just double checking it to make sure. CRC at easthamptonma.gov.
Okay. Okay, I'll send everything there so it sits there.
Yeah, I just think that that'd be a great place to have it.
Okay.
Okay. If I can, if I loop back to Winterfest, I actually am glad that there's not any indoor space. I kind of feel like being outdoors is better at this point.
Right.
But I'd certainly be happy to participate. And I do have some things for tabling, like the acrylic holders and little acrylic frames, which I have brought to my basement. So anyway, I'm not sure the exact plan, but if it's chatting with people, well, certainly I can do that.
It might be cool to have some kind of a a giveaway as an exposure item, if there was, you know, I know we've talked about things like that in the past, but I forget what, we had some plans in place for the Cultural Chaos Festival before COVID hit. We had a lot of plans for what we were going to do there, and I know we were going to have t-shirts made up for us to wear, and we were going to do a whole video thing there, which probably wouldn't make a lot of sense for the winter. I don't know. But, and we had talked different times about doing like magnets, bumper stickers, but not bumper stickers, actually like magnets. And anyway, there's so many opportunities, so many things you could do for promotional pieces or what have you, but.
Right.
Can we tap you for that, Deb, when we want to have our promotional, because this is your thing.
It's my thing, yeah.
This is your thing.
Sure.
This is your field.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
yeah, that would be good. Thank you.
Happy to help. Yep, happy to help. Okay, anything else for discussion on Winterfest right now?
I guess I just want to say, like, I think I'd rather than give out stuff that has our logo on it, I think we should stick to giving out something what someone might benefit from right away, like food or
Hot chocolate.
Yeah.
That always draws people
Yeah.
in, for sure.
Right.
Something to draw people in even for conversation.
Right.
And even if you had as a handout or I don't know, something that was just small that had like a few key facts about the CRC or
Oh, I know.
contact information or what have you.
Yeah. So, we have $10,000 in the bank, right? Maybe we should have a quiz, guess how diverse this community is, and have these like really specific questions.
Engage people. Yeah.
Whoever wins $10,000.
Then you need some work.
Yeah.
I think we can put CRC on a Sharpie on a cup and, and pass it out. No, I'm kidding.
Well, lots to think about.
Sure. Let me stop.
Okay.
Okay, anything else for tonight on that topic?
We needed to talk about I don't know what's next on the agenda, but we needed to talk about the video, like the 2 video ideas, because I met with the man at Easthampton Media a long time ago at this point. So,
So you were planning to do an update on that tonight, Emily?
I was.
Okay.
Emily, we have like 5 minutes until 8:00.
Yeah.
And we don't have that on the agenda for tonight. I guess we were trying to think about
I know.
keeping this to a reasonable amount of time for.
I looked at the agenda a few days ago, but I didn't think it could be updated. Anyway.
And that's my fault. I pared it down, so I take responsibility for that. I didn't realize you were going to be ready with an update for tonight, so I apologize.
Am I allowed to say anything about it?
I guess we could create an other category, and you
Well,
could.
can we go back to announcements?
Right.
You could
Right.
tell us. You could
Right.
tell us that you
Right.
heard from.
Remembering these announcements. Go ahead.
Right. Announcement.
Okay.
So I met with Jeff Mastrioni, who is the new director of the Easthampton Media, Easthampton Media. And he was very nice, very accommodating. He's open to helping us out. And he said, the Notify Me project sounds like a good idea. The committee, having people learn about the committee was another great idea. He's open to anything. We just need to start scripting it and going to him with our ideas. And so I looked at the website yesterday, and the Notify Me button is right there on the front page. And then it looked simpler than the last time I looked at it. And I'm just not sure that that should necessarily be our project.
What, to notify me? Well,
Right,
I think if we want to promote it, I mean, I signed up for it. It's fabulous.
right. So I
Right.
think we could promote it, but I guess I'm just not sure we need to do a how-to? Maybe we do.
Well, my question tonight, because the mayor said something like the website got reviewed and it's not ADA compliant.
Right,
So
right,
that suggests changes.
right,
So I don't know if we're ready until if we know this is the version,
right.
and then see about helping the public access it.
Right.
Or it might not hurt too, though, if even in doing some trial runs using it ourselves, if we had suggestions for improvement, to submit them now, just as suggestions for easier access.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know I could probably do it, because I remember when I first looked at it, I got stuck a few times where I was trying to look up a meeting real quick or look up an agenda quick, and I had a hard time. Like, I was struggling. I don't know.
Well, I use it. And I can tell you that when I ask for things to be posted, like minutes and agendas, I get a notify me when that happens.
Yeah.
Yes, so do I.
So that works.
Right.
I signed up for Notify Me too, and I don't know. Well, yeah.
Well, you have to pick there. You could be notified. In the beginning, I was ambitious, and I'm notified of everything. Is like, that's too much, right? So I
Right.
pared it down to, well, I want to know about the Community Relations Committee and maybe a couple of other things.
Also, I was just curious, did anybody else have a hard time? I had such a hard time. My computer's being a little funky today for sure, but I had such a hard time getting on. I was sitting here at 25 after 6, and it took me 15 minutes or so. I mean, I kept typing in, I finally did it on the phone, but it wouldn't even take the phone number at first. The phone number, and then it wouldn't take the ID number for the meeting. And, it just was on and on. Anyway, I don't know if there's a problem. Nobody else had a problem? I think it's my computer is just doing weird shit today.
I might recommend using Chrome, the browser, instead of another browser. That might help.
Okay, thank you.
What were you
You're
using, Margaret? What browser?
I was trying to get on my AOL account,
Okay.
and so I don't use Chrome.
I've heard that AOL can be kind of difficult these days.
Yes, I think I'm moving on to Gmail, but I'll let you know
I think that will help.
when I'm ready.
Yeah.
AOL stands for Aging Old Lady. You know that, and I'm proud to be holding it up.
Me too. I love AOL, or I always have.
Anyways, I might. I think I need to go teach myself. I need some YouTube tutorials on Gmail, and then I will be free. I will be updated.
Yeah. I have Gmail and AOL, and I just like AOL better.
Okay, well, all right. I hear you.
Does it still say you've got mail?
What?
Does it still say you've got mail?
No,
Yes. No.
You've got mail.
it doesn't. Thank
Doesn't.
goodness.
No.
You've got mail. No, it doesn't do that any longer. You also can't switch between your addresses just by a click anymore either. You have to you just have to. We'll just
Anyway. Okay, so next meeting date.
Yes.
Let's check the calendar.
So what days of the week are good for you all? Do you still prefer Tuesday?
Well, yeah, Myra said Tuesday was really a day she needed.
Yeah. I
Okay.
prefer Tuesday.
And I'm good on Tuesdays.
And do we want to avoid school committee?
That's always the question.
So is that the first and the third of the month is school committee? Will you help me with this first and third, and then we're going for the second Tuesday? Is that correct?
I think that's correct.
Myra, are you on school committee?
No, but you attend it.
Occasionally.
Okay. So do you have a preference for which Tuesday of the month we meet on? I don't have a preference.
No, I don't. I'm fine. I just revolve around my kiddos' times. So Monday, guitar. I don't know what other days. So I think Tuesday is free.
So do we want to, I mean, do we want to avoid school committee or do we not care?
Well, I think we could try and avoid it because it limits, the mayor's participation as well as if there's any
Okay.
parents or something that want to attend.
So are we looking at the second then? The second,
I don't know when it is.
this,
Yeah, I'm actually kind of finding a school committee regular meeting agenda if I can find it. Because I'm not really sure if they do second and fourth or first and third. Honestly, I don't remember.
I think it's first and third, but not entirely sure.
School committee. Okay. So I'm just looking at an old agenda for the school committee. You know, they've been nice enough to start off by saying next meetings are. So back in October, their next meetings were November 9th, which was
is the second.
was the second Tuesday, and December 14th, which was the second Tuesday. So they
Well,
might do. Mhm.
I just want to say that might not reflect when it's twice a month, because I know when I was on the school committee, it was a different plan for the holiday months. So it was like once a month. So that might just have changed. I wouldn't assume then that it means,
So they didn't stick with their first or third. They just decided.
right. They just go to one meeting a month in those 2
So
months.
let's see. Let's go further back. August 10th. August. There's some negotiations, but just regular meeting. August 10th and August 24th.
August 10th and 24th are the second and fourth.
Okay. And then September 21st.
That's the third.
Oh, nothing like being.
All right. So
Why don't we just go with give ourselves, it's because we're meeting at the end of December, give ourselves some time.
So do we want to look at, okay, when would you like to,
Wait. Is that a holiday?
I won't be able to meet on the 18th. I know that. I can meet on the 11th or I can meet on the 25th.
Maybe we go, ooh, I just opened my work calendar. Ooh. Yeah,
I can do either the 11th or the 25th.
right. Either of those work for me.
And I'm pretty sure I can as well.
I'll go with the 11th.
Or is that too soon? Myra.
Well, we do have a lot to do.
I'm still here. So
Yeah.
I can go with the 11th or the 25th. I'm not partial to either.
Okay, how many of you want to go with the 11th? How many want to go with the 25th?
Look at it. Thank you. We defy decisions.
Well,
Okay,
I
let's go
just
for-
missed that because I was checking my calendar. So now I can say
Yeah.
either one's fine. 11th is fine.
Yeah. Okay,
How do you
so
feel about that?
the 11th is fine with me.
All right, let's do the 11th and we'll have what I see in some ways as a work meeting. Yes?
You want to have a work session?
Yeah.
This does mean we can't vote, so that if we decided on a chair, we wouldn't be able to vote then.
Well, there'll be 4 of us, maybe 6 of us.
So maybe it's fine if we don't vote. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool. You want a work session on January 11th?
And I don't know if we're going to find a chair unless Myra or Emily change their minds.
Well,
I want to be the chair.
Well, I mean, just, if people want to trade off, like others want to do the minutes, just let me know.
Look at that.
It's empty.
No, I think you wanted to actually put it in front of your face.
Would you rather chair or write some minute? I'm teasing, really, but anyway.
Actually, I'm pretty decent at writing up minutes, but I'm not going to be consistent in having time after work. I won't lie. But anyway,
All right, well, something for you all to think about,
Yes, all right.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, so we're 11 at 6:30, and we
Do you
will,
Yeah, do we prefer 6:30 generally?
Or 6. 6 or 6:30.
I guess we don't have to worry about losing Patty as much as that we did. So is 6:30 better?
well, I don't know, 6 to 7:30 would work for me. I mean,
that might be a little better because I never get a chance to eat beforehand, and
Right,
by now I'm hungry, so I'd rather do 6 to 7:30.
okay, so the 11th, 6 to 7:30.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty. Do we have a motion to adjourn? And before we do that, actually, I just want to say thank you to all of you. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I'm going to miss you too. I'm going to miss you all.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's been a pleasure
Thanks a
working
lot,
with
Deb.
you.
Thanks
And,
for your work. You did a great job. You have a
You did a
very,
great job.
You're very kind.
yeah,
But
very
we'll be in touch for sure.
All right, definitely. We're going to
Okay.
need a lot of tutelage.
But, well, I'm always
We
here
have-
for you. Always support you.
We have recordings of you in action, so that's nice. Thank you for all that.
Oh, gosh, that's scary. Very scary. Anyway, okay, motion to adjourn.
Yes,
Margaret, is
yes.
there a second?
second.
Myra? Okay. Rebecca always wants a roll call, so here we go. Rebecca?
It's all on me. Yes, adjourn.
Okay, Patty Dougherty's no longer here. Emily Britton?
yes.
Margaret Kirstein?
Yes.
Yeah, Norman's not here. Myra Oyedemi?
Yes.
Gabby's not here. Deborah Lucia, yes. Okay. Motion
Happy
meeting.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
New Year.
Much health.
You too.